Good morning, Vietnam. You know, now that we've been, taken over by communism, maybe I should just start every video with that from now on. Just, you know, just call this Vietnam. Because it kind of is now. We found out that there wasn't a lot of Chinese support initially for the North Vietnamese government. China was very weak at the time. What little they had as far as arms went came from, oh, guess where, Russia. Just one of them interesting things like that we didn't know about there and that we didn't know about North Korea. North Korea was assisted entirely, historically, by Russia, not China. And if you see, there's Russia right there. See Russia? Russia. Oh, look, there's the border with North Korea. Right there. Right there. Just opened up a new train service right before, Kim Jong-un started making these leaps and bounds with nuclear technology. Isn't that special? And, I've been saying for quite some time that in addition to the new things we learned about, like, it was the Russians flying the Russian planes, not Chinese pilots. We were told it was Chinese pilots by guess who? Moscow. Oh no, those are just Russian planes. It's the Chinese pilots flying them. No, we found out that it was in fact Russian pilots flying over North Korea. So we were in a shooting war with Russia. Okay? We were in a shooting war with Russia. Okay? And before that, we had a thing called World War II. You might have heard of it. And, started with a little thing called Pearl Harbor. Might be familiar with that. In which, a country who has been our ally and friend ever since, and was our ally and friend before that, suspiciously attacked us right after we said if they would just keep fighting Russia for Manchuria, that's this area right here, okay? If they would just keep fighting Russia, in 2 weeks we would send them supplies. But then that weekend, after losing Manchuria and many, many air bases and naval ports in Manchuria, with ships and planes on the ground in port, suddenly Pearl Harbor was attacked by seemingly Japanese forces. And we went to war with Japan, blah, blah, blah. I just think it's suspicious that we made a public statement we were going to come help you if you just kept up with your, campaign against Russia, keep fighting the Russo-Sino War, or whatever. Russo-Japanese War? Yeah, sorry. And then, they attacked us. Makes perfect sense, right? We said, we're going to come help you because, Japan actually had legal ownership that wasn't, from conquest or anything. Legal ownership to Tianjin, to the Koreas, to Manchuria. It was Qin Dynasty. This all used to be China. See, now that's China, actually. That's not Japan. And this is just a communist fucking horde country that calls itself China. But there are actually Chinese nationalists here that are the same people, the same exact Chinese people. Okay? So technically, when us white people call them Chinamen, when they look like Chinese people, we're not fucking wrong. Because other than the kidnapped slave and former slave tribes, this is literally a race that is a family that is related to its royal house. That's how most of these major areas were settled, by the way. little young humans. But during the supposed Japanese invasion of China, you're picturing a bunch of boats. No, they already had a bunch of land here. It was a war fought on the land. China versus China. Japan was just the name of these islands. And that's where the uncle of the last Chinese emperor lived. And, you know, the little boy was fucking killed by communists. Anyways. And that's why they're two different fucking, you know, rulerships now. Because communism took over here and killed this guy's nephew. So white people are stupid for calling them all Chinese for you know, back when they were all actually Chinese. You're a little slow to learn, I admit, but I just find that fucking hilarious, you know? So, now we've made the brilliant a moody move of canceling the trade deal called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Yes, it's always good to cancel a multi-billion-dollar security, trade, and human rights agreement because you fucking feel like it. Makes perfect sense. Definitely something you want to make an emotional decision about and just bring the campaign rhetoric right over into policy without considering any of the consequences. You know, because you didn't meet with the fucking actual national security people who actually know anything. You've just been told what the fuck you can be told by Russian fucking intelligence.